Hello, and welcome to our podcast of Wraith the Oblivion. This is a variant story that accompanies Dirge of the Maniacal, a full chronicle that takes place in the world of darkness. I am your storyteller tonight, Myles von Kamp, and with me is Nicole Pierce, who will be playing as Gabriela Torres, the Chanteur. Good evening.
Hey, Myles.
So, our sidewinding tale takes place, well, we're not too sure. We remember going to a haunt and taking some rest within a tether, but for all of the rest of you out there, it's November 21st, 1994, and our sidewinding story will take place in Portland, Oregon. After a very, very long rest and slumber, our main character and Wraith will awaken from her long slumber feeling mostly rejuvenated, mostly recovered, definitely rested a little bit longer than you normally would inside a tether, but upon exiting, you notice immediately that you are no longer with your comrades or friends nearby. You are instead in the same room that you were at before. The only difference is everyone else is still sleeping. Everyone else is still in slumber. They haven't awoken yet. So what that probably means is that your injuries were not as fatal or destructive as your companions were, and they're taking more time to recover, taking more time to rejuvenate their corpus so that they can emerge and join you again. You're not really sure how long that'll take. Probably a few more hours, half a day. The important thing is that you have time. You have an opportunity to explore or do things on your own if you wish. There are a couple options that seem to pop up in your head as you kind of look about the room and equate yourself with where you're at. You remember this being the haunt that belongs to Rose Gareth, another Wraith that you met on your journeys. And this haunt is a combination of two things. It is a hotel, and it is also a tavern. The tavern place, or the tavern location, is where most people like to congregate and enjoy their drinks. It's where the living come to meet up with their friends and have long, lonely nights into 2, 3 a.m. And while this happens, usually the dead like to inspect and watch and plan and plot and sometimes even get their own drink on too. For there are servers that also exist in the Shadowlands willing to serve you in the same tavern that the living go to as well. The drinks just might be a little bit different though. Outside of this is the hotel area, which consists of many, many different rooms. Basically for the guests who wish to, come here and sleep for the night or a week. Mostly travelers and tourists, people just staying for a small while or a weekend. As you are kind of taking in the senses of the room, you are able to smell the sawdust on the floor from the wood. You're able to kind of see through the darkness of the unlit room all the different items that are kind of strewn along the sides of the shelves and on the bookshelves as well. And there are some barrels and boxes. It looks like it might be like a storage room that nobody goes inside. And as you are kind of looking around this room, trying to see different things, I'm going to need you to please give me a perception and alertness roll. So that'll be 5 d10s, and your 10s will explode.
Right. Difficulty
Okay.
is a 6.
Yep. So that is a 0. You have no successes. So you just kind of like take a moment. Maybe there's a lot of things in this room that you just kind of spend a little bit too much of your time on. And you take in more of like your surroundings, and kind of hear the creaking of the wood underneath your feet. And you look over and you're able to see all these different types of books, different languages, different like antiques that are sitting around. You recall some of the other tethers that your comrades had decided to take slumber in for themselves. And you're able to kind of hear a sound coming from outside of the room. You're not exactly sure what it is. You have great hearing. After all, wraiths are able to hear well over the hearing of any living mortal. But even with that in mind, the sound is a very low kind of murmur, like a conversation that's taking place, but there's no like breathing, there's no pausing. It's just murmuring that is happening outside the door of this building. I'm sorry, of this particular room that you're in. Give me another perception and alertness roll. Difficulty will be a 7 this time. The difficulty goes up. There you go.
And I explode those 10s.
Please do. All right. You can explode that.
I can explode that one as well?
Yes, you may. Well, there you go. There you go. 5 successes.
It was at the beginning.
Yes. So you just take a few minutes to kind of like center yourself, maybe take a few deep breaths. And as you do this, finally, for some odd reason, you don't know why you didn't see it earlier before, there is a small little note on one of the tables nearby. And as you examine it, you notice that this envelope that is sitting there, just making sure that I activate your character for you on roll 20 so you can move around. You should be activated at this point.
Yes.
Yeah, you will notice that this envelope on the table has a wax seal that has been pressed on the opening so that you would have to break the seal to expose its secrets inside. What would you like to do? This envelope was not there when you first came here to go into slumber. It's obviously a new thing here.
Okay, do I recognize the seal?
Yes, you do. It is, let me give you a description. If I can find it. Here it is. It is what appears to be a very, very detailed skull with very, very intricately designed teeth and sockets and everything. It just looks like a very, very realistic looking skull that has been wax sealed upon this envelope. And you kind of think to yourself, okay, so I've seen this before. I've received envelopes with wax seals like this before as well. This is from the Renegades. And no one else would probably recognize this seal except for myself.
Okay. I'm gonna pick it up and open it.
Okay. You open it up. I'm going to reveal it on your screen so that you can take a look at it too. There you go. Inside is a small little note. And when you read the note, it says, "If Jesus Christ died for our sins, why do I feel so empty? Don't be late. K."
Huh. Okay.
You take the note with you?
Um, I'm gonna say yes, but I'm also
Oh,
gonna look for maybe like a fireplace or something if I need to throw it in there.
okay. Right now, there doesn't seem to be any fireplaces in the Shadowlands that you could use for such things.
Mhm.
Um, if you were to explore maybe one of the workshop areas that Rose Gareth may use, you could probably find a kiln or some kind of uh, like fire or essence that she uses in order to forge and create things that you could probably burn it up in.
Mhm.
It really is up to you. But I'm assuming that
Okay.
you're at least picking it up for now, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm putting it in one of my side pockets. I think
Okay.
I'm carrying like a bag or a backpack of some sort.
Sounds good. If you look on your character folder, you'll see something that says "Renegade Sealed Envelope," and you can click on that anytime if you want to reread the little note on it.
Okay.
So you kind of give it a little bit of thought. You don't need to roll dice for this, but you give it a little bit of thought, and you're thinking, K. Who could K be?
I'm thinking it's Cowrie, and it would make sense
Hmm.
because I know I wanted to talk to her.
Yeah, and you also remember a little mental note about Cowrie. She loves riddles and puzzles, and the Renegades absolutely love her for it. It helps uh, create a strong veil of secrecy and silence and of just a strong void so that neither the hierarchy or the heretics or any troublemaker would be able to discover their whereabouts or their hiding places because of her riddles. So, with that in mind, this might be its own little riddle for you to find her location.
Okay. Huh.
Now, if you want to discover what that location is, that would probably be, let me check, your intelligence. Um, and you do not have enigmas, I believe.
I do not.
Let's see what you could use. Hmm. Let's see. I'm just checking your character sheet right now. If anything
Mhm.
pops up, Streetwise would work. So intelligence plus Streetwise is 3d10s. If you want to think it over out loud, you might be able to lower the difficulty a little bit, depending on how you're able to figure out the puzzle that this might be talking about.
Mhm. Um, Jesus Christ died for our sins. Why do I feel so empty? I mean, I'm wondering if I need to focus on the Jesus Christ part or the empty part.
Hmm. Okay.
And so, I'm trying to think because I've been in.
What comes to mind when you think of Jesus Christ died for our sins? Like what comes to mind?
Well, I think of a cross.
A
Um,
cross, okay. That's
mhm.
good.
Um, yeah, I'm
And
just
then
thinking there might be a cross somewhere that I know of nearby.
okay. And then
And then when I think empty.
why do I
Oh,
feel
go ahead.
so empty? Oh, no, you're good. I was just going to say, why do I feel so empty? Like, what do you think that might pertain to?
Um, well, I feel so empty, so that means so
Could you,
it was
yeah,
only full of sin then, and so now she's completely empty because there's nothing left.
okay.
And
So,
what would that have to do with the location?
hmm. So give
Maybe a
me
tomb of some kind? Oh, no, okay, never mind.
give me a, what was that last thing you said? I missed it.
Is it a tomb of some kind or like a
Hmm.
catacomb?
You
Maybe.
know, as you start thinking about that, I will decrease your difficulty, just a little bit. So I need you to give me your intelligence plus your streetwise. That'll be 3d10s. Difficulty will be dropped to a 5.
Okay.
Hmm.
Hey! 3 successes.
Nice. Unfortunately, you can't explode the 10s, but 3 successes is pretty damn good. So here's what you get. As you're reading this, you start to remember characteristics about where the renegades like to hang out, their normal spots, their normal settlements, and you recall that Cowrie likes to keep the renegades somewhere that is noisy and has a lot of activity going on. She likes to take the renegades to nightclubs. She likes to take them to loud bars and taverns. That way, when you have conversations, it's more private. So that's the first part of your streetwise. The second part is you remember that there are some nearby nightclubs, and you start to kind of like recall your using your streetwise the names of these um, locations.
Okay.
As your GM is pulling them up right now in his trusty little notebook. But yeah, so what I'm going to give you is these locations, and I'm going to type them up for you too so you can read them as well. And then
Mhm.
that'll be your streetwise at work. So the first nightclub is called the Trio Club. Um, the second one is called 45 East. And the third club is called the Golgothic. So you have the Trio Club, 45 East, and Golgothic. While you're thinking about this, I need you to give me a wits and awareness. So that'll be 60 10s. Wits and awareness, difficulty 6. Hey, that's pretty good.
Just double checking that I don't I do explode my tent. Okay.
Yep, you can explode the 10s. Nice. So with 3 successes, you are still able to. I'm sorry, 4 successes. You're able to determine one very, very important little detail when you're thinking about these nightclubs that are located in Portland. The names that I just gave you are the names of the nightclubs in the Shadowlands. They are not the names of the clubs in the Skinlands. So I'm now going to give you the names, and I'm going to coordinate them with the ones that you just remembered.
Okay.
So you remember that Golgothic is a nightclub, but in the Skinlands, it's called the Hollow Scene. The Trio Club is known as the Quite the Saint in the Skinlands, and 45 East is known as the Three Kings. So those are the names on the left are the Shadowlands names that all the Wraiths call these nightclubs, and the names on the right are what people in the mortal living world, Skinlands, call these nightclubs.
Okay.
So as you read those names, does anything jump out at you?
I'm leaning towards it's between Quite the Saint and the Three Kings, so Trio Club or 45 East.
Okay. Did you want to make a dice roll to determine why that is?
Yes, I'll
Okay.
for the Trio Club / Quite the Saint. That's the one I'm gonna focus on.
Okay. You want to roll your intelligence, and this will go under. This will still go under your streetwise.
Okay.
So yeah.
3
So
D10.
3d10s. Yep.
Oh no.
Oh well. You have a definite feeling that both of these places are absolutely the correct places, but both of them stand out as they're both really great choices. There's no real defining element or piece of this puzzle that would tell you otherwise. So they're both correct. There is no incorrect answer.
Man. Them both being correct has to be incorrect. So
Yeah,
because
you
Callie
kind of
can't
get
be at 2 places at once.
No, she can't. But you do get a sense that if you do decide on one of those two places, the one you choose is probably the correct one.
All right. Man, I'm probably thinking way too into this. But no, it still doesn't work because I'm thinking, okay, Jesus Christ, I believe he died at the age of 33. So then I was thinking, okay, well maybe it's the 3 thing, but trio is still 3 and then 3 kings is 3. So that still
hmm
doesn't help me.
hmm
Um, but I'm now leaning towards 3 kings because of when Jesus is born. But maybe I should focus on why do I feel so empty?
So your shadow is gonna chime in a little bit and say, "Hey, that word Golgothic, what the hell does that mean?"
I have no idea, Shadow. That's a good question.
Right? I know I've heard it before. I've heard that word before. I don't think it's. I think the Gothic might just be like a little edgy addition that they made for it. But I know I've heard like Gothic, something like that. I got it stuck in my head now.
Huh. Um, I mean, if you've heard of it, Shadow, then maybe
Mm.
that's supposed to be the right answer.
Are you saying that's the place that you should go?
Ah, man. Maybe because
Yeah.
Hollow scene. I think that would be right.
Why does
Oh
Holocene
god.
jump out at you?
I don't know, I'm just like even though it's hollow, it's
Mhm.
HOLO, I'm thinking also HOLLOW. Um,
Like being empty?
yeah, so I'm thinking in since I'm not sure exactly what Golgothic means, I'm gonna go with Holocene and thinking of as
Mm,
hollow being empty, and so I'm gonna go with that,
okay.
and that's where I'm going. I'm gonna hope for
Okay.
the best.
I gotcha. Those other two choices are pretty good too.
They were, and I'm still stuck on the 3 thing, but I'm gonna go with Holocene with being hollow
Excellent.
and being empty.
Well, what are we waiting for? And as you and your shadow kind of collect yourselves and just kind of like register the idea of going to this nightclub that you've heard of, you notice that there is a door located right here on the left. I'm sorry, on the right. And it appears to be locked. It exists in the Skinlands, and it is a locked shut door. So you will need to sacrifice 1 point of corpus in order to walk through this door.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right. I'm marking that on your sheet right now. And I will give you a better reveal of the area now that you are traveling down the hallway. And feel free to move your character into the hallway once I open that up for you.
Alrighty.
So, you enter this hallway, more doors, and more possible ways to go. You, however, hear that murmur now turn into boisterous, loud conversations coming from the north. So up here in the hallway on the north, you'll hear conversations and laughing and jeering and whistling and people having a really good time. It sounds like it's like a mixture of both the living and the dead, enjoying high spirits. Probably a tavern area of this haunt that you are practicing in. Could be a good opportunity to get some pathos back, or might be an interesting way to investigate this haunt a little bit. It's up to you, really. Or, kind of like the note said from Cowrie, don't be late. So the choice is yours.
I'm gonna I'm gonna leave and just go to Calorie because I don't know how long that letter has been sitting there, and since I slept longer than normal, don't want her to be upset, so I'm just gonna go straight to her.
Okay. As far as the exit goes, you recall that you need to travel a little bit further to the north. So you kind of have to go towards the noise. You don't have to interact with it if you don't want to. But as you kind of like let your eyes adjust, you'll start to notice that the hallway becomes more clear and you walk down it. The sounds of clinking glasses and plates falling on the floor and people having a good time starts to become very, very loud and rambunctious. And you will not need to spend a point of corpus for this next thing that looks like a door that will actually be open. So you will slip through with your ghostly form and kind of calm down this hallway, leading to what appears to be the tavern that is up north on this location. Um, when you start going down the hallway, uh, immediately you will notice I'm waiting for roll 20 to catch up so that you can see. At this point in time, I need you to give me a perception and bureaucracy roll. So that'll be six d10s.
All right.
Difficulty is a standard 6. How'd you do? Did
Like 4 successes.
you say 4?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So as you kind of like peer into this tavern area of the haunt, you will see, again, like I said, the living and the dead. The living seem to be just kind of enjoying themselves, doing their own thing. The dead, however, have a very distinct look to them. Just kind of like looking around the room and examining them, the first thing that you notice is the emblem that is patched to their armor and their shoulder pads and their weapons and their scabbards and their capes. It's just a very, very just openly blatant emblem that is the Beggar Legion. So these are all legionnaires. They're all soldiers for the hierarchy who serve the local legionnaire. So these legionnaire will notice you. They'll kind of like turn their heads towards you. You'll see all these helmets and sunglasses and people kind of like holding their weapons. Just kind of like look over in your direction, and for one split second, you have like a gulp go down your throat, even though you don't have any oxygen or saliva, and you just kind of like look to yourself like, did I just make a really bad decision? And then as soon as you think you're in trouble, they all just go back to what they're doing, and they start talking and having conversations with each other as if you don't exist.
Huh. Okay.
Now I need you to give me a wits and alertness roll. That'll be 5d10s with exploding 10s.
Okay. Difficulty 6?
Oh, the amount of dice that you have?
No, the difficulty. So I rolled
Oh,
5 and 10.
Yeah, difficulty is a standard 6. So I'm
Okay.
seeing 1 success?
1 success, yes.
Okay. 1 success will actually be enough. As you're kind of like skimming through all of these just hungered and dangerous looking warriors and soldiers and masked men, one particular character will catch your eye right here at this table, just a little bit to your left. She seems to be having a conversation with one of the legionnaires. You immediately are able to recognize and identify this character that is sitting at the table. And I'm going to activate it on your notes right about now. This is Roeas, the servant. And you recall that she is the legionnaire who brought you to this place in the first place.
Oh, okay.
She is one of your allies and goes under one of your backgrounds. So she seems to be just kind of enjoying herself. She seems to be surrounded in some kind of blue smoke that she is exhaling from her mouth, and seems to be enjoying the conversation that she's having with the individual at the table. She hasn't noticed you yet, but she just seems to be kind of focused on, has all of her attention focused on the topic that's at hand. Yeah, so you notice her. Do you wish to exit, or do you wish to continue? I mean, do you wish to exit, or do you wish to start a conversation with her?
I'm gonna head towards her. And I'm
Okay.
gonna do, like, a slight wave to, like, get her attention, but not necessarily to interrupt her conversation. Because just in case it's
Okay.
important, I just want her to I wanna acknowledge that she's there and let
Mm-hmm.
her decide if she wants to talk to me.
Okay. Um, she will take the smoking apparatus out of her mouth, and she will kind of raise her hand slightly towards you. And as she raises her hand, she looks at the empty stool that is sitting to the south of the table and just kind of gestures toward it like, do you want to join us? Have a seat? Have a drink? But without saying this out loud, just with your body language.
Right. Alright. It's a time crunch, but I'm gonna sit. I'm gonna
It
sit.
is. You're going to sit? Okay. You sit down, and the other Legionnaire will look to Roeus and say, if you'll excuse me, and gets up from their stool and goes and joins another Legionnaire as if trying to continue a conversation that maybe they were having earlier. But Roeus looks at you and she's just like, well, aren't you a sight for sore eyes? I didn't think I'd be seeing you this soon, but I assumed that you were still in the area.
Yeah, it's nice to see you. I'm just passing through, kind of just traveling.
Can I buy you a drink?
Um, Not this time, but I'm gonna hold you to it for next time. There's
Oh,
somewhere that I have to be, but I wanted to still say hi.
yeah. I'm going to be in the area for some time now. Um, and she kind of like looks at you and looks at what you're wearing and notices that you don't appear to be wearing anything with the regalia of the Pauper Legion, and kind of stares at you and goes, did you register yourself? Like, you had the choice to? And you can nod or shake your head if you want to. You probably shouldn't say anything around this lot. And she kind of like gestures her smoking apparatus towards the other legionnaires in the room, as if to say they could hear every word that we say. So sometimes gestures are better than words.
Okay. Um,
Yeah. So she's asking if you had registered yourself with this citadel and became a legionnaire.
right.
Hmm.
I'm gonna shake my head no, but also shrug at the same time and
Okay.
just be like, it's it's on my to-do list.
I gotcha. It's been a long time. I'm surprised you haven't made any big decisions yet. And I'll be honest with you, if you had chosen to join us, you probably would be in a better place right now. And she kind of like looks over at everyone that's in the tavern with the two of you, and she says, the hierarchy has just conquered the city. Portland has been completely taken over by the Legion. So all of the reinforcements from Stygia came here and annihilated as many renegades as they could to retake the capital. The citadel has been secured. Everyone is, well, under martial law. You can't walk down the street of Portland without being noticed by a legionnaire patrolling the area. Which is why, and she raises her own glass of some kind of tincture, is why it probably would have been better if you had registered at this point, because then you would look like everyone else here and probably belong. This used to be renegade territory, and now it has been taken back.
I
Food for
see.
thought. So if you're
And if she
headed yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
She was gonna say she'll kind of like cross her arms over one another and kind of like lean forward on the table and say, so wherever you're headed, Gabriela, you should know that you could be arrested and prosecuted and, well, brought before the law. And as I had told you in that very long train ride, not everyone becomes a legionnaire here in the Citadel. Some people will be soul forged as punishment. I wonder what kind of exception they'll make for you. I guess this is my way of saying be very careful if you're deciding to walk along the streets today.
All right. Duly noted.
Mm.
Um,
Is there anything I can do for you?
um, I mean, I
For
just
all time's sake?
is there because I like I've said, it's on my to-do list. I am planning on doing it, but there is some place that I need to go to. Is there any way that I can get through the city without potentially getting in trouble?
Hmm. She'll kind of like place her hand on the hilt of her sword and kind of like um kind of tickle her fingers on the hilt with each finger, like it's a xylophone almost. And she's deep in thought. And she looks at you and says, "Well, the worst thing that you could do, it's still planned though, but the worst thing that you could do is you dress up like us, put on a patch, uh, wear something that looks like it belongs to a legionnaire, and yeah, just try to look like us and walk around. You'll still probably be questioned, but at least you'll have a better chance instead of going out there like that. Or I could join you and come along with you, and that way people don't suspect you at all."
Okay.
Your choice.
Here's my question to you as the GM, though.
Yes, go ahead.
Is the hollow scene still in Portland, or is it
Yes,
out? Okay.
it is in Portland. It's approximately maybe 3 blocks from here. Easy walk.
Okay. Darn. There goes that idea. Okay, oh, do you mind walking with me for a little bit?
She'll take the glass of her beverage in her hand, uh, down it really, really quickly, give out a good exhalation, and go, "What did it for me?"
What? What are you looking for?
What do you have?
Hmm.
If you
Hold on,
click
let me
on,
look through my
yeah, if you click on Gabriela inventory, you can see what you have.
let's see, what do we have here? And hmm,
Anything jump out at you?
I have the Legionnaires War Safar?
Mm, yep, so far. The instrument?
Yes, so I'm
Uh,
wondering if she might be interested in that.
mm.
Um, hold on, let me make sure that's not something really good that I actually wanna keep.
Very good
Um,
point.
yeah, let me go through this again. Where is here, the findings. Oh, that is something I might wanna keep. Okay, so
It's a good thing
until
you
I
read it.
figure out yeah. Ta 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 ta. Well, the sovereign orb doesn't seem that important to me. but it
Okay.
might be important to her.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna say I may have an item that may be important to you
All
and
right.
kind of because I don't want to put it out in the open. So I just want to like lean my bag over so that she can see it in there and say, "Are you
Okay.
interested?"
Roll 2d10s for me.
2 and a 10.
Roll 1d10 for me.
I have an 8.
Nice. Okay. Um, your ally will look to you and say, I think you got my attention, and we definitely have a deal.
All right. You want it now or on the walk?
I'll take it on the walk. But there's something that I
All
need to
right.
give you. There is something that I need to give you right now, though.
Oh, okay.
She stands up, walks over to you, and clamps your wrists with binds and cuffs, and drapes the chains down onto the floor, and basically connects a cuff around your neck, which also dangles chains to her wrist. And she says, Gabriela Torres, you are under arrest for not registering yourself with the hierarchy. I will be taking you into custody. Is this understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Very well. Then come with me. If you struggle, I will make you feel something worse than death. And the two of you will
Understood.
head and the two of you will head up to the north. The other legionnaires in the tavern will watch this happen, and they'll kind of like raise their glasses to Roeas, like, "Yeah, good for you. Don't let those don't let those free rates walk around like they own the joint." Haha. The guard in front of the door will look to Roeas and say, like, you got another one, huh? Roeas will be like, she practically came to me, if I'm being honest. And she will move aside. And the doors will be open for the two of you to depart and head outside of the area. I will open that up for you now so you can see and look at that. Like, probably turn off the there we go. Oh, did I just make everything disappear?
Yes. I was
Okay.
like, "No."
That was my fault. I think I can fix it though. I just need to have a bigger view. All right, give me 1 second. There we go. Good enough. There. So you can see now, right?
Mhm.
Okay, good. So if you look to the north, that is the direction that the two of you will start taking.
Okay.
You both depart and start heading down the stairs of the tavern slash inn, and Roeas will kind of like pull you along with your chains as if to kind of like make it look pretty convincing. And as you guys exit, she will whisper to you, I think that was pretty convincing. What do you think?
It was very convincing. I would definitely be quaking in my shoes if I did not know we were friends.
Hmm. It's a good thing you hired me then, huh?
Good thing.
Okay. And the two of you will travel to a new area, heading north. Every single legionnaire that you come across in the 3 block walk will salute, nod their head, maybe even give like a high five to Roeas as she passes by, kind of tugging you along with her on the chains, very, very forcefully, but just trying to keep up appearances. And she will head up the north. And she's, as you guys are going up this area, you can see yourself right on the bottom.
Yes, I do
Okay.
not have the ability to move myself, though.
I see. Then I need to activate you. Let me do that for you. Seems to be the reoccurring theme.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. You should be able to move now.
Yes, thank you.
Excellent. Yep. And as you're going down this long alleyway of buildings and houses and apartment buildings and different complexes, you can smell the mildew and the stench of moss and decay and old stone starting to deplete and fall apart. You'll just continue traveling north, the rattling of the chains going along with Roeus, who, pulls and, insists that you continue following with her. And she's like, just keep a straight face and just keep going.
All right.
And you will get at least up to this point. And when you do, a legionnaire will walk across the bridge right towards Roeus. And then you will notice that the other two legionnaires will suddenly pincer the two of you side by side. They do not have their weapons drawn, but they definitely have their hands at the ready. And the one on the bridge, the legionnaire, will approach you. He's wearing sunglasses and has slicked back hair. He's got his hand on his hilt, like he, owns the bridge, and you have to pay some kind of toll to get past him. Stands there, with his neck held up high, and he's like, "Well, what brings you to my neck of the woods? Looks like you're trying to cross my bridge." And Roeus just kind of shakes her head and says, "What's this all about?" And the legionnaire will kind of just fold his arms across his chest and say, "Well, where are you headed? What's this you got here behind you?" And Roeus will, very gingerly take out her smoking device again, light it up, and just start smoking and breathing fumes all around the two of you. She's like, "That's none of your damn business. And if I remember correctly, you're not supposed to be patrolling this bridge. You're supposed to be patrolling the other side of the bridge and walking around looking like you know what you're doing." The legionnaire will kind of like snort at this and look beyond Roeus and kind of stare at you. How do you want to look in front of these legionnaires that are like examining you? Like, what do you want to? What kind of expression do you want to have, or what's your body language? What do you want to look like to them?
I kind of just want to look neutral because I don't want to look like I can be walked all over, but I don't want to look like I'm intimidating. So honestly, just a blank look on my face
Okay.
and
I
just
will.
kind of neutral.
I will allow you one of two different choices. Then you can
Okay.
use your charisma or your appearance, and you can use your expression or your performance. Either one of these choices is 6 die, but
Hmm.
it does like kind of like show what you're using to convince us. It's either your expressions or it is your body language and your performance. It sounds like you're kind of leaning towards expression.
Yeah, I'm going towards. So I'm going to use appearance and
Mhm.
expression.
Sounds good. That'll be 60-10.
Oh, ah, I don't know. Are my glasses on?
They are not currently, no.
Okay.
All right. Let's see here.
Um,
So, do you want to blow a willpower and re-roll some of those?
uh, let me see. How much willpower do I have?
I
Oh, I
believe
can
you
do that.
have, yeah, you have 4 willpower, so you can blow one and re-roll 3 dice.
Yeah, let's do that. I
Go
if
ahead.
my shadow is also willing to help
Your
me.
shadow kind of laughs to itself and says, I'll help you the second time, but you're doing great.
All right, there's
Okay.
one.
So that is one success. You have the legionnaires that are like on your left and right hand side pretty well fooled, but the legionnaire that's standing on the bridge does not look convinced. He's actually kind of like curious, like what's going on here. This looks like some kind of ploy. So your shadow will kind of whisper to you, it's like, maybe you should try to act the part, and maybe you should try to look unhappy. I mean, you are about to get soul forged into, I don't know. What did you want to be? A curtain? A coin? A shelf? A doorknob?
Oh,
A
man.
mirror? What would you like to be? Think
None of
about it.
those.
Well, think about it and channel that. And maybe I can channel something towards you as well. Okay?
All right,
Because
can
you're not
I?
going to get much farther if you do not convince that guy with the big sword.
Okay,
I'll give
if
I'll give you 4 shadow dice.
okay, so then my goal then, if I am successful, is that she kind of like looks down, and if it's
Mhm.
successful, you see like maybe 1 or 2 tears.
Okay, there you go. Would you like to use your manipulation for that?
Oh, I'd love to.
Yes. So that'll be manipulation plus performance. That'll be actually that would be empathy. So I would go for so you have 4 dice in manipulation, 3 dice in
Mhm.
empathy, and then you will get 4 shadow die from your shadow. So roll 11 d10s. That's better.
Yes. No exploding 10s, but a lot of successes.
That appears to be 8 successes. So, as soon as you do this, the legionnaires that are standing on your flanks will back up immediately all of a sudden, as if like something had happened. And you will see Roeus like blow the blue smoke into your face and say, "Silence! You are being taken to the Citadel, whether you like it or not. And I assure you, for this behavior, you are not going to get it easy." And then she kind of like slowly turns over to the Legionnaire guarding the bridge and says, "Done here? Or do I need to give you the same pep talk?" And he starts to back away slowly, saying, "No, no, no, we're good, we're good. Carry on." And kind of goes over to the other side of the bridge, minding his own business. Um, and Roeus will continue forward, dragging you along. "Come along, prisoner. No time to lose." The archer will move out of your way as he seems a little intimidated at what just transpired. It doesn't want to get on your ally's bad side. Um, and you guys will go down what appears to be a dark hallway, sorts. You will go underneath a overpass that is from one of those buildings leading to the other. And then in the crevices of the dark alley, you will notice indeed that there is a nightclub located back here that has the neon lights saying Holocene. And your ally will look to you and say, "Well, I'm glad that you hired me for help.
I am too.
This could have
To
this could have gone south for you, couldn't it?"
very, very well. Uh,
Hmm.
do you mind taking these off and we can exchange?
Oh, yes, 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 yes. She will unhinge the cuffs around your wrists and your neck, and she'll kind of like wind the chains back into a coil, draping it at her side next to a whip and a sword that she keeps hilted, and she'll be like, I almost forgot. Force of habit, sorry. Anyway,
It's okay.
I got one last thing to propose to you.
Okay.
Were you planning on sticking around this area when you're done with your meeting?
Uh, Probably not. I think I might head back to the tavern if I can get there.
Sounds like you might need some help, huh?
Yeah.
Mm. How much you got?
Um, Going through my inventory one more time. I
Sounds
might just
good.
have to do Obelai in this case.
Yeah.
Um,
You check your pocket and notice that you have 30 Obelai coins in your pocket.
do I still have the 70 that I got from Cowrie?
That is a very. Oh, I think she gave you a down payment. She gave you a down payment of 30.
No, I
She's
mean,
gonna.
so after we left, we
Mhm.
did so when
Oh yes, yes,
yeah,
yes,
at
yes.
the
You did
very
get.
end.
Yes. Thank you for reminding me. You should get
So I have
100.
100. Okay.
That is
I was like,
correct.
I thought I had more money.
You did. Yeah, you definitely did. I just forgot to write that down for you. All right. I even have an. It's really funny. I'm looking at your shadow guide sheet right now in front of me,
Mhm.
and I wrote in last game session plus 70 Opalai. And it's like maybe I should have added that to her sheet. Whoops. All right. So
Um,
yes, there is suddenly 100 Obelai in your pocket. It must have been hiding behind some of the cloth.
I'm rich. Okay. So
Yeah.
what's the equivalent? Are we saying like an Obelai equals $1, or are we saying an Obelai equals $10? I'm just kind of trying to figure out like how
One
much I
ob
should give.
one Obelai is the equivalent to one soul. One soul can be soul forged into one coin. So yeah, you can see that. You can see a living life as $1.
Oh man, that sounds horrible. Um,
It's a very cryptic game.
okay, I will take out 30 Obelai
Mm,
and I make sure that it looks like I have no more in my pocket.
okay.
Um,
Yeah,
and
you
be
know
like,
the cloth in your pocket does a good job hiding Obelai apparently.
um, and I will just kind of hand it over and be like, "Can I have another escort out?"
Of course you can. Sounds like you got yourself a deal. I'll just hang out here.
Okay. Do you want the orb now or do you want it on the next walk?
I'll take it now.
All right. And I hand over the hierarchy orb.
Sounds good. She will take it and starts to admire it and kind of like flips it in the air a couple times and catches it like it's some kind of baseball. I'll see you in a few.
Alrighty. And before I go in, do you know if
Yeah.
this nightclub is also filled with a lot of legionnaires that I should be worried about, or should I be okay?
Ask that one more time. Sorry.
Like, so she's not worried about me getting in trouble walking in. So I guess I'm asking her, do I need to worry about other like rough legionnaires in there to
Probably
cause me
not.
problems? Okay.
Probably not.
All right, then I will just walk on in. But I
Okay.
put on my sunglasses.
That sounds like a great idea. So this next scene is going to involve what we call in World of Darkness the mind's eye, or basically kind of like imagining what this next scene will look like. But
Okay.
you'll enter what appears to be a very loud, radiant, fog-covered nightclub from the 90s. There's music playing, there's Depeche Mode going crazy on the speakers, and you can see a bunch of people dressed up in like various leathers and band T-shirts that are like just flailing and enjoying themselves on the dance floor and buying themselves drinks at the nearby bars. And it seems to be really loud. There's lights flashing everywhere. In order to get up to this dance scene, you have to travel up just one set of stairs. However, you also notice that there's a set of stairs that seems to go down as well into a dark basement looking cellar area. So what choice would you like to make? Would you like to go to the dance club area where everyone is raving out, or do you want to go down into the basement that is covered in darkness and seems eerie?
Calorie wants us to be in a place that's loud and that you don't get noticed. But at the same time, if it's too loud, how can you talk? So the loudness could just be masking it, which means she could be downstairs.
That sounds pretty accurate. It's a pretty good assumption.
Yeah, I'm gonna go downstairs.
Okay. As you make your way down the stairs and your eyes start to adjust to its stronger night vision, you will immediately start to see some familiar faces deep within the basement itself. There are various barrels and chairs and kind of cots arranged all along this basement. And as the wraiths start to appear, and you see these small little tiny bonfires that they seem to be making inside empty drum barrels, using various debris to create the flames, to light up this small little basement. You'll see that these wraiths all turn in your direction and place their hands on the hilts of their swords. And then the moment that they notice and see who you are, they will remove their hands from their swords and the hilts of their weapons. And some of them will nod their heads towards you. And some of them will actually just outright say, "Oh, Gabriela, it's you. Thank goodness." And yeah, they just kind of go back to their conversations, looking at maps and devising their plans. So these are renegades.
All right. I will nod at a few as I
Mhm.
walk around. And do I see Calorie anywhere?
You do. She seems to be sitting with some of the other renegades. They are looking at what appears to be a map, and there's a lot of like scribbling on that map in red, what appears to be red ink, like squares and X's and check marks and little angry skull faces and all kinds of like various little icons that are just like kind of like drawn all over this. And it seems to make sense to Cowrie and her subordinates. But the moment that she sees you, she'll actually drop her pen and say, "Oh, you came at a good time, Gabriella. I was actually starting to get concerned about you. Um, what do you have to report?" And she'll actually kind of like pull you aside over to a giant casket that has been flipped upside down on its side so that it kind of becomes a table for the two of you to lean up against if you'd like to. And then you have these two little stools that you sit upon and just kind of take a moment to catch up. And she looks and says, "Yeah, your report was pretty detailed, but what else you got for me? We're kind of neck deep in trouble right now. After you returned, 24 hours later, the hierarchy invaded Portland and took over. Uh, we've lost close to 100 of our people to this siege. So, any information that you have for me is great, and I could use some good news right about now. What you got?"
I mean, honestly, I don't know if I have any new news for you. I was kind of asleep for the last 16 hours, and
Hmm.
I just learned about, Portland being
Hmm.
taken over. I kinda had an escort here, um, that's how I was able to
Good.
get here without any issues. But,
That was very clever of you.
yeah, but other than that, I don't know if I really have any new information for you. It like you said, it looks like they've taken over everything. You can't walk down the street without there being a Legionnaire somewhere. I'm surprised that they haven't found you guys here. Like, how are you holding up here without getting in any, any notice?
This location does not interest the hierarchy as much as other areas do. We will often move ourselves to new locations pretty frequently, but that's usually gauging on the amount of, well, patrolmen walking the streets. What you saw out there, that's like a minimum right now. That's not very heavy at all. So we'll take our chances in this area if we have to. I've got some questions for you though, and
Okay.
she'll kind of like gaze her eyes over at some of the nearby renegades, and they'll nod their heads and start to walk away as if to give her and you some privacy. And she looks at you and says, "Did that circle find the door?"
They did find it. The first time, well, the only time that they found it, we kept them away from it. However, now it looks like the plan is to open that door. But they don't know about it yet. I'm the only one who knows that that's the door we have to go to at this moment. I don't know if they'll figure it out, but right now I'm the only one who knows.
I tried to warn you about what could occur if you decide to open up that door. The cataclysm that would hit, well, not just the Shadowlands, but would probably start affecting the Skinlands as well. A maelstrom to end all storms.
Would it be such a bad thing to tell them that? They seem like a group where they don't want that to happen. So maybe
Hmm.
if we warn them, they might try and find another way to get to this
Hmm.
Valescos guy.
Hmm. So you encountered um, anything else in that basement that I should be aware of? Where the door was being kept?
There's
Anything I should be aware of?
there's someone down there. Um,
Hmm.
we didn't have much interaction with him. He literally yelled at us to go away. Um,
Oh,
but there is someone near that door. There's like a second room and he's in there. Um,
that's that's very
I don't
convenient.
Yeah, I don't know if he's a guard of some sort. He's just he's just there, and he didn't attack
Hmm.
us, he just told us to leave.
Probably made the right decision by not sticking around.
Do you have an idea of who that could have been?
I have no idea. No idea at all. So, you brought up a really good point. If we were to tell your circle that they'd be unleashing the next maelstrom if they decide to open up those doors, um, do you think they'd listen? And do you think they would depart from their original plan?
I think they will. They'll at least listen, and they will try to come up with a new plan and make opening the door a last resort. I don't know if it'll completely be off the table,
Mm.
but I think it could at least get them to think of doing things in another way.
Hmm.
I'm still learning about the circle, so I'm not 100% sure how they all feel, especially because we kinda lost Victor, so I don't know, 1, where he is, and 2, how he feels about things.
Hmm. So, what is the purpose of you going through the doors? Why do you need to go through the doors?
Valesco told them that there's basically a god behind this door that we need to kill or destroy, and if we
Hmm.
do that, we will be in his good graces, and then he will stop supplying his plants to all of his clientele. And that is
Hmm.
what the circle is trying to do, basically just get him to stop working with other people in other groups.
So, in order to stop Velasco from creating merchandise to his clientele, you guys are willing to go through a dangerous store that could possibly set off the next maelstrom and fight a quote unquote god on the other side of these doors. Is
Honestly,
that
I don't.
you,
Yeah,
you
I mean,
you know that sounds ridiculous, right?
it sounds very ridiculous. I mean, while we were talking, it was very clear we had no other option. We kind of just agreed to it
Hmm.
to give Bias more time to figure out some other plan to get Valesco to quit.
Hmm.
And honestly, I don't think the entire group, I think they all believe killing a god is near impossible, and they don't even know
Hmm.
what's behind the door. They just assume it's a god if Valesco's even telling the truth.
And
Um,
kind of like what I told you last time, I have never encountered a god in the Shadowlands before. I've heard of entities lurking in the labyrinth, close to where Oblivion is. Um, these things are not exactly gods, but specters would argue that they are described as gods. But that's besides the point. It has nothing to do with what you guys are kind of talking about here. Did you see anything like anything inscribed or written by the door? Out of curiosity.
oh, I did. Let me see if it's still in the note section.
It is
'Cause I
not.
don't think I wrote that down.
It's okay. Give me a straight up intelligence roll. So 2d10s to remember.
Oh man, I gotta make this girl smarter.
You can also roll your linguistics too. So add 2 more d10s to that.
Oh, okay. 1 success.
With your 1 success, you remember that there was something written in Spanish, um, right from the bottom. And I'm going to put that on the screen for you in just a moment. Just trying to find it. All right, found it. I'm going to be putting that on Roll20 for you to read.
Okay. And I will make sure to take a screenshot of that. Man, I can't believe I didn't write that down though. But okay.
So that's okay. So the translation from Spanish was rise from oblivion, initiate the grand corrosion, awaken, dormant omega. The web constricts around, quivering hearts, Ilum.
Okay. Um, I reiterate that to
Sure.
Cowrie.
You'll see her press her hands together and kind of like melts her nose and forehead at the tips of her fingers and just kind of like looks like she's trying to get over some kind of migraine. And then after a few seconds of silence, looks up at you and says, "So how's that research going on with the angelics and archangelics?"
It has not started yet. Um,
Okay.
I've been asleep. Literally, the moment I woke up, I came here, so I
Mm,
haven't had a chance. My corpus was bad,
mm,
and I still have no pathos at this point.
mm,
Um, but I knew it'd be late, right? So I am here, but I'm definitely going to be researching into that.
mm. Make sure you do so. I can tell you from this writing that what you are going to find on the other side of those doors is not a god. It is either an angelic or an archangelic. Those are not gods. But if I remember from what I've read about them, and I'm just checking Cowrie's character sheet to make sure I have sufficient lore to know this. I do. From what I can remember, and I have to make a intelligence roll for Cowrie to make sure that she does not spout something false or incorrect. All right. So after my dice roll, Cowrie will look at you and say, from what I remember in my studies on these things, the best people that have knowledge about these things are called harbingers. They are the ones who are gifted in the arcanos known as Argos.
Oh, okay. Actually, I mean, I'm pretty knowledgeable of Argos, and I know a few
Hmm,
people have taught me that, so I think I know who to go to for some research then.
good. They will help you out very, very much so. There are um, subgroups or smaller factions of harbingers that exist that can help you as well and help describe what these angelics are. Maybe they've encountered them before in the past. It's definitely very, very rare, but it can happen from time to time. So I would recommend looking for, see if I can find their name. I would recommend speaking to harbingers. If you have a contact who is with the harbingers, I definitely recommend speaking to them first before these guys. These guys are cutthroats, so they're not necessarily the nicest of rates to talk to.
Mhm.
But yeah, try to use your contacts first. If that fails you or leads you down nowhere, find a group called the Privateers, and I put it on Roll20 for you as well. The Privateers are a subgroup of harbingers that exist. Those are the cutthroats that I was telling you about. They can tell you about their experiences. If that doesn't work, or you wish to speak with some individuals that are close to the underworld and the Tempest, and the creatures that come out of the Tempest and the underworld, such as, well, angelics. I recommend a group called the Anemographers. The Anemographers are basically the scientists and the topographers and the research team of harbingers that gather information. They'll have a more academic point of view on this. There's only one problem with, I know it sounds all well and good to speaking with that crew. There's only one problem with that. They are in Stygia. So if you wanted to speak to any of them, you'd have to go to Stygia itself.
Ah, okay.
My team of renegades are not ready for Stygia yet. That's like taking on the Empire and saying, "Yeah, we got this." we're not quite there yet, especially after we lost 100 of our troops. So I hope this helps you on your research. Sorry, I couldn't be more help. Argos is not really my Argos is not really my thing. I just kind of read some books, didn't really interest me at all. But I was more interested in the Tempest itself when I was studying under Argos. I'm sorry, you were saying something?
Than helpful. Yeah, you've been more than helpful. You're sending me in the right direction because at least I have an idea of where to start.
Descending would be the correct word. It's a very dark and dangerous pathway that you've chosen, especially the closer you get to that labyrinth. So,
I have a question for you.
Of course, go on.
If it came down to it, and this is not what I want, but if it came down to it, should the circle be killed to keep that door from opening?
The
last resort.
Give me some time to think about that.
Okay, because I know
it's a very heavy. That's a very heavy question.
Okay.
I'll have to think about that. I have some news for you too. Consider this payment for the great deed that you've done me. It's about your sister. It's about your sister.
What news do you have?
She's been spotted. She has not been fully located yet, but she has been spotted. I don't think you're going to like the news of where she was seen.
Please don't tell me it's Stygia.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
If she was in Stygia, I would give you the answer that she was dead and gone, and you would never see her again.
Okay.
It would be lying, but it would prevent you from going there and seeking the next afterlife yourself. No, she's not in Stygia.
Okay, where has she been spotted?
There was a pathway near the Citadel where she was spotted leaving with a group of heretics. She was wearing their robes. She was carrying their book. But my spies were not able to see if she was marked or branded with the heretic symbol on her forehead. We don't know if she is devout yet, but we do know that she is walking side by side with the heretics. I don't know. I don't know what this news does for you, but if anything, it hammers closer to your so-called god, quote unquote, behind those double doors. Because I believe the heretics worship whatever it is that's beyond those doors. So it wouldn't surprise me if you come across a adventure that involves destroying this entity in order to rescue your sister, if it comes down to it. I hope this was fair enough payment for you.
This was, yes, thank you. It just has me thinking, what has she gotten herself into?
That's a very good question. You know, sometimes we think that we know someone really well because we've been with them all our lives. But when you come down here in the Shadowlands after you've died, it's almost like you live a completely different life from the person you used to be. And things change. And we have a tendency to change with them as well. She kind of like stretches out her arm and examines her fingers as if she's kind of like remembering what she used to feel when she was still alive and had blood pumping through her veins. So, good luck on your journey. I need to continue here with the group. If you wish to bring your circle to me, I will definitely give them all of my intel on the dangers of opening the doors.
Okay, yeah, I think that's a good plan. Listening and being with the circle so far, it sounds like they would not want to open that door either if they knew what was behind there. So I think telling them is actually the best option here.
So do your research, find out as much information as you can, and determine within that circle whether it's worth the risk or not. The reason why that information about angelics and archangelics are not widely known by us wraiths is because not many have survived to document their existence. Something to keep in mind. Anyway, I have work that I need to do. So please carry on. And when your friends have awakened, please bring them to me if you wish. We'll still be here for a little bit longer to plan what we're going to do with this city, whether it's a lost cause or not. We might end up moving on.
Okay. All right.
Oh, and she'll hand you a bag of coins. Good luck.
Thank you.
She'll nod. Keep me informed.
Of course.
Do you exit at this point?
While I am exiting, can I look in the bag and see how many coins are in there?
It appears to be 50 obli.
Hey, I'm rich again. Okay.
So you kind of like stash that to your side and exit this underground bunker that's located in the nightclub. The music starts to drown out all white noise and sound once again, and you're kind of like stepping up the stairs leading to the exit of this nightclub. Once you feel the cold winter air hit your face and your corpus, and feel the icy breeze kind of enter your nostrils again, and feel the winds kind of whip around your clothes. You remind yourself that, oh yeah, Roeus is supposed to be here. And for a moment, you're like, did she abandon me? But you hear the footsteps of her walking behind you. And she comes out of the shadows, looking a little relaxed. Looks to you and says, did everything work out the way you wanted it to?
Yes and no.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is a question between you and me, Myles. I
Oh,
I
yeah.
would I would think I would have told her. Yeah, she knows about my sister.
Yes, she does.
Oh, okay. So,
Hmm.
all right. So then I will say to her, I just got some information about my sister. At least I know
Hmm.
she's not a table.
Hmm. Well, you need to do something about that then, right?
Yeah, but I have to get back to the tavern.
Hmm. Of course. And she will pull out the manacles and chains and kind of like raises her eyebrow with a little bit of sarcasm. Huh? Huh?
I just
Sorry.
put my arms out and be like, "I think you like this a little too much."
Well, it's a lot more fun when you're arresting somebody who you don't know. But this'll do for now. And she locks you up in the chains again. Doesn't pull you as hard as she did the first time because she can tell that you're going through a lot as your mind kind of washes over the thoughts of your sister and trying to like visualize what she looks like. And as you do this, you're just kind of like remembering like small distant memories between the two of you. And then suddenly you get this kind of impulsive view about her wearing the robes of the hierarchy, wearing the symbols and the book and the instruments of I said hierarchy, I meant heretics. That was my own little incorrect word there. I meant to say heretics. You imagine her wearing the clothing of the heretics, the cloth, the symbols, the book, the iconography, the weapons, everything. And you kind of like visualize her face and you see that kind of like burning, searing symbol uh, imprinted on her forehead. And it just kind of runs this kind of disgusting chill down your back of discomfort and unease. And before you know it, you and Roeus are back at the tavern. She will unhinge all of the cufflings as usual, and she will take you to a different entrance so you don't have to go through the tavern again that is covered in hierarchy members. Um,
Mhm.
and as she like lets you loose and guides you to that front door where the inn takes in its visitors, she'll kind of like swing the chains over her shoulder and look to you and say, hey, remember, if you need someone to fight alongside of you, I'm always for hire. I can be expensive, but I am for hire. Keep that in mind, okay?
I will. How long
Good.
are you gonna be in town for, you think?
As long as the hierarchy has its flag raised at the Citadel, I will probably be here for the next 6 weeks.
Okay.
Unless I get reassigned to somewhere else. But right now, I'm probably going to be here for the next 6 weeks, give or take.
Alright.
You take care, Gabrielle. It's good to see you again. I forgot how much
Eh,
fun it can be to be amongst old friends.
yeah, it's good to see you too.
And she just kind of like turns her shoulder and starts walking back into the distant snowy trails and dark winds, and you will have an opportunity to go back to the tavern if you wish to, and meet up with your group and your quote-unquote circle. What are some of the thoughts that are going through Gabriela's mind in these last few seconds of privacy?
Well, she's thinking about how she's gonna tell the circle that one, Valesco is a liar, and two, oh, where he wants us to go is basically like the end of the like everything. But she's also thinking about her sister. And a small part of her is thinking like, how long has she been part of the heretics, and did she even look for Gabriela?
As these questions enter your head and whatever emotions kind of sweep over you, they are passing. And you get a sense of direction. You don't know what's going to be at the end of that direction that you go, but hopefully you will at least see your sister along the way.